Jimagan. Good morning and welcome to the show. And Happy New Year to you.
To you too.
Fantastic.
Wish you all the best that you wish for yourself.
Thank you. How did you enter 2023?
Quiet one.
Okay, at home?
At home, yes,
Okay.
reflecting on the year
All right.
past and thinking about the year ahead.
Indeed.
Yeah.
In a couple of days' time, we will be marking a very grim anniversary, 1 year of the Apiate explosion, disaster. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, what have we learned as a nation? Are we expecting another Piache in the coming days? The reports that have been commissioned, we have not had chance to look at the reports to inform us. As usual, the reports are for selected few. And how do we move on from, how do we improve if we don't learn our lessons properly? So 1 year from Apiache, how are the community members coping? And what has changed significantly in the mining industry? Those are some of the thoughts I think we will look at when the 1 year comes.
All righty. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's dive straight into what's happening today, because today is the 10th of January 2023, and on gbcghanaonline.com, 2023 basic and SHS academic calendars commence today. This is a picture of the Director General of the GES, and let me read the story for you. The academic year for first and second cycle schools across the country will begin today, Tuesday, January 10th. GES has said, while it will be the commencement of the first semester for the second cycle schools, it will be the first term for basic schools. This is the third year in a row in which the academic year is commencing from January, after it was jolted by the impact of the coronavirus pandemic from March 2020, during which schools were forced to close down. In the past, academic years began in September, but now things are happening in January. So, according to a statement released by the Ministry of Education and GES to heads of institutions, there will not be double track at any level, and that only 2-year groups of the 3 cohorts of students in senior high schools are to be in school at any given time for the academic year. So, back to school today. It's a very tense time for parents, looking for school fees, to pay school, for the students go to school. I was reading about release of money to schools for feeding. I was reading that in today's graphic about schools just waiting for the money to be released to them so that they can take care of feeding. It shouldn't be rocket science, basically, to take care of children in school, should it?
No, we used to have similar situations in the past. How the previous headmasters and headmistresses used to manage it is left for us to go and find out. But there were instances where you realize that they also tried to squeeze situations to be able to feed wards of our parents in school. So, but the CHAS, Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, said they are ready. However, the year past, we talk about situations where we had issues with buffer stock supplying schools with food, etc. There were threats of schools closing down because there were insufficient amount of food to feed the students. It's our prayer that should not happen at this time. And also, sometimes parents feel, come on, this is the time you people go to school. We also want a bit of peace at home. Yes, and so it's a time that parents are also praying that the children go to school. And it's a time that the children are also praying to go and meet colleagues at school so that they will do all their usual stuff. However, you mentioned that schools used to reopen in September.
Yes.
And now they are reopening in January.
Yeah.
I think that all this feed into the students going further studies, maybe outside Ghana, etc. So somehow we need to realign gradually. And I think the January-September thing came as a result of the double track, etc. that we were practicing.
And COVID too.
And COVID.
Where the schools were shut down.
Yes. So I think we should gradually readjust and realign to get back to September. That should be the long-term plan.
You think September is better?
Yes. As I was saying, for example, we don't have January intakes in our universities and September intakes in our... We only have one intake in the university, so we should somehow, otherwise people will complete school and will be at home for a long time before entering the university.
I know some private universities where children who were in the private secondary schools went into university in September, but those in government secondary schools are now going in January.
Exactly.
So you have this kind of a staggered.
That is the
admission.
sort of thing. If we have the facilities to be able to cater for the resources, the lecturers, etc., all well and good. You have autumn intake. We have a spring and fall intake.
We don't even have autumn and spring and
we don't have
dry season and wet season.
We don't. We only have wet season and dry season. So all I'm trying to say is that whilst universities across the world, some have September intake, January intake, and maybe March, February, April intake, we only have one intake. So if it is that a lot of our students will go for that single intake, then we must try and align our academic calendar so that the intake will not be at a situation where students complete school and they are home for 4, 5, 6 months before going into the university.
All right. If you're a parent or a student or a teacher, are you looking forward to the return back to school? I was reading about prices of school items going up, and that also is going to put more pressure on family budgets. You know, chop boxes, gari, shito, tinapa, all these things that you take for boarding school. Prices are going up, and it's the economy. It's all so many factors. Lack of money in the pocket. It's quite a stressful time to be a parent around this time.
That's why the parent need to look for promotions. You have to be shrewd and look at for places where there are promotions and try to see if those who, and you have to also go for budget goods, quality by budget, so that you'll be able to make up for what you might not have had. So yes, you mentioned tinapa, and I smiled. I don't think we still have tinapa these days.
Well,
no, we
I think now they are not doing sardine and corned beef.
No, we have geisha. Geisha has taken over
the old brand.
Tinapa was the old brand, so a lot of people will not know what.
An old school guy.
You are an old school guy, and we used to call any type of geisha-like thing tinapa. So that's it. So the parents need to, as I said, look out for promotions and budget stuff. And also to be able to sit down with their walls to explain that we are in difficult times. They should try and make do with what they can supply them. Otherwise, we have a lot of students who are going to fall victims to friends, etc. People who will induce them that I will supply you A, B, C if you can do D, E, F for me. And that will not in the end help the students.
Indeed. Let us know. Parents, teachers, students, give us your thoughts. Are you dreading going back to the return to school, or you're looking forward to it with open arms? 055-556. Today is the return to school of the basic and the senior high schools, and it's on gbcghanaonline.com. Just a quick note on the head of GES, Dr. Eric Nkansa, Director General of the GES. There was a lot of brouhaha around his appointment. They said he was not a teacher, he was a banker, blah, 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 blah. He's finally been approved. End of story?
I guess so. Everybody will fall in line and give him the cooperation. There will be people, of course, who will be willing that he fails. There will be people who are equally praying seriously for him to succeed. So once he's now in the seats, I think we all just have to fall in line and pray that he succeeds, because ultimately, all we need is success at the Ministry of Education, and for that matter, an education service. So if we have, you see, you don't necessarily have to tick all the boxes to be able to perform in a job. At the end, we need quality job done. So we give him time. If he's doing the quality job, we will praise him at the end. Otherwise, we'll look back to say, we told you so.
Alrighty, so you are watching GTV Breakfast, and today is the return to schools. I'm going to see a different aspect of the story. This is in Daily Graphic, and it's also on their website, graphic.com.gh. CHAS president, it says SHSs are ready for the 2023 academic year. You can see some, I'm sure this is rice or wheat or something, being loaded on some very strong heads. The many second-cycle schools, they've expressed their readiness to open for the commencement of the 2023 academic year. So, in separate interviews with the Daily Graphic, management of some second-cycle schools expressed their readiness to open. They said they have put in place necessary arrangements for second and third year continuing students to return to school for resumption of academic activities. Boarding facilities have been fumigated. In terms of food items, while some of the schools have received their packages, others are expected to receive theirs by close of today. The National Food Buffer Stock Company Limited has been tasked to get in touch with local foodstuff suppliers to deliver 20% of food needs to each school. So they are starting with 20%, and the remaining 80% of the food items are expected to be in the schools a week or two after arrival of the students. We shall follow this seriously. We will send our people out 2 weeks after to make sure that the 80% has landed, to enable the government to settle part of its more than 300 million CD indebtedness to suppliers. This is how much the government owes foodstuff suppliers, 300 million CDs. So the president of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, Reverend Father Stephen Osusetre, says their members are ready. They're only waiting for money to feed the students. Teaching and non-teaching staff are ready to do their work. And so, yeah, hopefully they will get all the money they need to be able to feed the students. 20% is going down now, 80% within the next 2 weeks. Your thoughts?
I think the problem I had with this distribution of food is it appears to be a centralized form of distribution. So I would say if you even buy a bowl of maize at 5 cities in maybe Tamale, it is sent to a store, a centralized location, maybe in Kumasi or Accra, before being sent back to a school in Tamale.
But they have like a regional buffer stock offices.
I am not aware of that.
That's according to this report that I'm reading here.
Okay. So
regional offices of the National Food Buffer Stock Company have been tasked to get in touch with
So if that is now in place, then that's good, so that the food distribution will be smooth. However, you mentioned as well that the suppliers are owed
300 million
Ghana cedis. And with the times we find ourselves in, if that is not done quickly to clear the debt, it's likely that the suppliers will not, in the end, be willing to give us more food for our wards. Again, he also mentioned that the teaching and non-teaching staff are ready for academic work to begin. So I gather that means that everybody is ready. We are only waiting for our wards to be in school. And I think that the period is also good now because there's no COVID. There's COVID, but no restrictions as we used to have. So there will be free movement of students, and academic work will be in full force. So all we can say is that let all stakeholders perform their part, get the food in quickly, let nobody worry about food, and let all the other stuff get to the students. And I think that we'll have a brilliant academic year.
Okay. Words of hope there. Let us know what you think. 055-556-1034. Parents, students, non-teaching and teaching staff, administrators, policymakers, schools reopening today. People in town selling all the food items. What's happening? Let's know. We want to hear from you. 055-556-1034. I want to just quickly touch on a story that was trending since Sunday. So this video that was shot in Jubilee House by this American musician. Now he pulled down the video yesterday after all the fury, and now he's actually apologized. So I just want to briefly read that. He says, "We shot video on the blind side of Jubilee House officials. Meek Mill apologizes to the presidency." So he in 3 tweets posted yesterday, January 9th, American rapper Meek Mill explained the circumstances around which he filmed footage in and around the Jubilee House. So government has been under pressure to address how the rapper filmed footage when he visited the president in December 2022 when he was in town for the Afro Nation concert. So this is his apology. He says, "To the people of Ghana, no video I drop is ever meant to disrespect the people of Ghana. The fastest way to make connection is through music, and I wanted to do that with displaying art. I'm in my 30s from America and didn't know much about the lifestyle here." That's the first tweet. Then his another tweet to the Ghanaian people and to the presidency. "My apologies," and I quote, "to the people if any disrespect. We're still going to push to make the connection between black people in America and Africa. What I'm trying to do is more than a video, and you should see coming soon. My apologies to the office also." That's the second tweet. And then when a Ghanaian blogger tweeted that the outrage was not targeted at him per se, but at the presidency, he explained how he procured the footage. And this is what I want to hear. It says, quote, "I don't think they knew it was video footage when we asked to shoot. It's a small camera and one kid. In America, we didn't know this existed and was excited to show because they don't show Ghana on our media much. So I'll take responsibility for my mistake. Not intentional," he said. And so that's, hopefully that'll put a line, draw a line under. Or, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think it will draw a line.
It's not going to draw a line?
At all. I find it a bit patronizing, to say the least, if not to use the word, a bit further insulting. He mentioned that Kofi, if you are going to the presidency and you are going to meet President Nana Akufo-Addo today, you will be in your best outfit. You will not be in T-shirts, etc., as we have seen. Then he also mentioned that they don't know. Kanye West, when he was going to the White House, he wasn't in shorts and T-shirts, etc. If he's saying that he doesn't know how it's done here, it is not done in America either. You can't walk to the office of the president, the White House, and take videos, etc. Then he also says they don't know we were going to do this. That calls into question the people we have at the presidency who are in charge of our security, etc. They don't know that they are taking videos like this. Number 3, he also talks about the fact that we will continue with our arrangement to link the black Americans with Ghanaians, etc. As if to say that Ghana linking with black Americans depends on these videos, etc. No, they don't depend on. And interesting, Kafri, it's been a while now. The silence from Jubilee House is a bit too deafening. The silence is too loud that at least someone should tell Ghanaians what went wrong. Maybe perhaps heads have been rolling, or perhaps some people have been sacked, etc. We don't know. But to leave all of us in a bit of darkness, as if nothing has really happened, that to me is a bit unfortunate coming from the Jubilee House. I think that Ghanaians also deserve a bit of explanation. That is our seat of government. That is a citadel of respect that we need to see, we hold in high esteem. But what we see and what we are hearing from Jubilee House, in fact, we are hearing nothing. It's a bit disturbing, to say the least. So I think that the Communication Directorate of Jubilee House, they owe us an explanation, because Ghanaians have taken this upon themselves to be talking. The people who invited and hosted the rapper, they are quiet. Why? We deserve some explanation. I think that the media also need to be asking questions.
Do you think it's because the president's daughter actually brought a man over to the Jubilee House, and that's how come people are like, okay, no, well, it's the president's daughter, so let's not talk too much?
It could be, Kafri, all over the world. I don't want to go into the friends and family thing. All over the world, people's family and friends.
Well, the president himself said that he was glad that his daughter insisted.
His daughter, yes.
That she
introduced him. Yes,
yeah, so that's, he said it. You know?
Yes, but that does not mean that we should throw away all our protocols and policies just because president's daughter is bringing somebody in.
But you know how things happen in Ghana.
Yes,
when the big man speaks, nobody wants to challenge the big man.
We should be able to redesign the default position. We should be able to say something. This is embarrassing. And I think that they are also, those in the Jubilee House are also feeling it. That's why perhaps everybody is silent. But you remember, if you see something, say something. Yeah. Now we are seeing something, let them say something to us. or we are seeing and we should say it.
I've heard a lot of talk about, okay, security implications. It looks like there was drone footage in the video. How are you allowed to pass through with all your cameras and things? Is it a storm in a teacup, or it's
no? When you are going to Flagstaff House now, they take your mobile phones. They take almost all the gadgets you hold in your hands, or they take some from you, those in your pocket. So how come they allow this young man and his team to carry their mobile phones, their cameras, as you are saying, perhaps a drone into the Jubilee House? I mean, is it just because the president's daughter introduced him? No, that should not be the situation. We should have a protocol in place. We should have a policy in place. When you are going to see the president, this and that is what you have to do. Perhaps we have decided that this guy is going to bring us so much publicity, so let's allow it. Or perhaps it's being used to sort of dust away the hooting that the president suffered at the Blackstaff House, Blackstaff Square. But that should not be the situation. Kafri, what happened and has been trending all over, if you follow the tweets, even the replies to the guy's tweets, you see that Ghanaians are still outraged at what happened. But I am talking about Jubilee House. They have been silent too long. They should tell us something.
Speaking of Jubilee House, so we have Eugene Ahin, who is head of communications at Jubilee House, and his deputy has confirmed a long-held rumor that he has ambitions of going to Parliament. He's posted on his photo on his Twitter handle on January 5 with the inscription, "The next bold step while the next tweet was captioned, "So help me God." So it appears that Mr. Jefferson Saki wants to become an MP. So he's running for a particular seat, Ablekuma Central. Are you surprised that people are, trying to get to the next level?
No, I'm not surprised. The people who were there before,
they did the same thing, right?
Some have moved on, yes. And sometimes he's a deputy to a particular president. So when that president moves on, and whoever comes, let's assume it's another MPP government, they might not necessarily maintain him as a deputy communication director at the office of the presidency. So it's time he also looks at moving. Of course, his boss, Eugene Ahim himself, we have been told, the president made comments that he's likely to go for the seats that
in the central region, where Mr. Anda was.
Where George Anda was.
One of the Goma seats.
Yes, where I think Hannah Tete's sister is at the moment. Now. So, I mean, it's not a surprise. A lot of them would like to move on to something else. So we can only say good luck to him and wish him all the best.
All right, you're watching GTV Breakfast. I'll take a couple of your messages this morning. Let's see. Keep them coming in 0555561034. This is Musa Abattoir talking about the president's unwillingness to sack his cousin despite glaring evidence of conflict of interest. And so, well, all right. Eric Brady also is sending us a message saying that Ghanaians should not lose hope in the government because Honorable Chimating will lead the MPP government since they are working on policies to make life easier. I'm interested in that because I also read somewhere that it is likely that the Agric Minister may resign from office. So the Trade Minister, his last day will be in 6 days' time. And so there are reports that the Agric Minister is also likely to resign from office. According to a myjoyonline.com report, the move by the minister would likely be made today, January 10th, at the presidency. He's likely to tender his resignation. Should the decision go ahead, it will become the second resignation in about 4 days after the Trade and Industry Minister stepped down on the 5th of January. Although there are no clear reasons for the likely resignation of the Food and Agriculture Minister, it's believed that he's tipped to contest in the race to be flag bearer of the MPP. And just a quick reminder that the Finance Minister is now the caretaker Minister for Trade. But this can't be a surprise to you.
No, not at all.
I've seen his billboards in almost every region that I have traveled through in this country. And Western, Central, Volta. I've seen his billboards all around.
Yeah. This is no surprise, and I think this should have happened long ago, if for two reasons. One, for their personal reason of having time to campaign. Two, for allowing somebody else to do the work as a substantive minister for Agric. So it is time those who are really nursing the ambitions should give way to others so that they don't have divided attention. Already we are stressed out with a lot of things. My question really is, will the vice president to be resigning? Because we have heard of news that vice president will also be likely to contest for the MPP flag bearership. Will he also be resigning?
How would that work? Will we appoint a caretaker vice president or what?
Yes, we've had a situation where
Mr. Akar?
No, Akar didn't resign. Akar remained in the government while was a running mate to President Kufuor when they had a great alliance. Yes, he didn't resign. But we had an unfortunate situation where John Mahama was vice president and moved to the president, and the vice presidency became vacant. We had a nomination, he went through vetting. That was how Parkwesi became vice president. So, but I'm only looking at the same measure, that if these ministers who are resigning, partly because they want to focus on one thing, and remember, if you chase two rabbits at the same time, you end up catching none of them. So partly because of the focusing on their campaign, and partly also because we want somebody to be solely responsible for the job, the government's job. That's all I'm asking. So if there's somebody who is going to be appointed, already we've had an acting minister for trade. We might have maybe an acting minister for agric. So somebody will be doing the job. So what happens to the vice presidency bit? That's my question to them. Yeah.
Okay, you're watching GTV Breakfast. What are your thoughts? He's supposed to be resigning today. We'll see what happens and we'll keep you updated. This is GTV Breakfast. Let's do some security news now. Mr. Jimega was talking about see something, say something. And let's take you to Wale Wale. So earlier on in the news this morning, it was reported that the Kusag youth movement in the Upper East region say they are surprised over recent attacks on vehicles traveling from Boku to southern Ghana after the Samampid festival last year. The attacks are said to have happened on the Wale Wale Road in the West Mamprusi municipality in the Northeast region, where one person was killed. There was a story on this on our breakfast news, and I'll be speaking as soon as I make contact. We'll speak with our reporter. We have our reporter on the line. Let's check out this report first, and then we'll speak to our man in the area.
The youth were worried that innocent indigents of the Kusau area are losing their lives to some unknown assassins. They recounted that a passenger bus was attacked on the 1st of January 2023 at Sanyo, a community close to Wale Wale in the West Mamprusi district, where one person was killed and 5 others wounded. The Kusau youth movement therefore thinks these attacks have a link to the ongoing peace struggle in Boko. Spokesperson for the group, Mr. Isahaku Aruk Mohammed, said similar attacks were recorded in that same week.
On Thursday, January 6, 2023, a cargo truck loaded with animals headed for Kumasi from Boku was attacked in a similar fashion, almost at the center of Wale Wale Township during the early hours of the evening. In this unprovoked attack, one person, a Mosi man, instantly from the gunshot died, and another person currently nursing bullet-riddled wounds and now at a hospital seeking treatment.
Mr. Mohammed said the attacks on traveling public, if not properly investigated, may destabilize the country. He called on the law enforcement agencies to quickly intervene to save lives and properties.
We Kusasis, the youth of Kusak, wish to call on the law enforcement agencies to act swiftly to avert a degeneration of the already volatile security situation in the area.
Meanwhile, there is stable peace in the Boku Township and people are going about their normal business.
All right, to get more information on this, we'll speak with the communications director of the Kusau Youth Movement, Ayamba Dauda Ali. Salam alaikum. And tell us exactly what the situation is with these attacks on vehicles traveling from Boku to southern Ghana. Ayamba, good morning. Do we have Ayamba on the line? We will come back to Ayamba shortly. Just to give you a little brief on it. So the Kusau Youth Movement in the Upper East region say they are surprised by recent attacks on vehicles traveling from Boku to southern Ghana after the Samampid festival last year. The attacks are reported to have happened on the Wale Wale Road in the West Mamprusi municipality in the Northeast region. One person was killed. We're trying to get more information on that. Ayamba Dauda Ali, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving the platform.
Fantastic. You are the communications director of the Kusau Youth Movement. Tell us exactly what the situation is as far as these attacks are concerned. Where are they been happening?
Yeah, first of all, I would want to extend my sincere greetings to the president of Kusau Youth Movement, and to also extend my honor and my respect to the president of the Kusau Traditional Council, Boku Naba Zubrana Abograwu Azoka II, for his services. Yes, our press conference, which was issued 2 days ago, were based on 2 instances that we want to send to the government, the security agency, to ensure that what is happening in the country, what is happening in Boku, and has found its way in Wale Wale to be brought to an end.
Ayamba, what exactly is happening? Let's get straight to the issue. What is happening?
What is happening is that there was a chief called Aminu, a chief in Walewale, one of the communities in Walewale, called Janga. Aminu was someone who threatened to cause harm, cause lives by destroying one truck owned by one man called Pasnaba. It was clear, he made it clear that he was going that he has been sitting in the house and he saw all the cars moving from Boku to Kumasi or Accra, and that he knows the owners of those cars, and those cars belong to Kusasi, and that he was going to cause loss of lives and to destroy a car. And fortunately, or unfortunately, it happened. It happened, I think, a week ago. One bus was attacked, and which led to a loss of 2 Fulani. And I think the security said that it was linked to armed robbery. Then another one happened 3 days ago. I think after that incident happened, 3 days, another incident happened which led to loss of another life, one Moshi man from Boku. Now, what they say is that it's linked to robbery. But I want to ask whether, is it only those cars moved from Boku to Accra that could be linked to robbery? Because we have cars moved from Boga. So what we know is that it's linked to the issue in Boku because someone has already threatened and the person mentioned the name of the car and actually executed the plan. And so we also know of 2 people who are national security operatives who are also linked to that incident. There are also people that we have mentioned the names who are based in Boga and are linked to the issue. So what we want to say is that for me, Kusa Youth Movement is a group not to cause harm. We are only there to protect lives. We are only there as a voice and to make sure that we promote and advance the socio-economic development of Kusa, which has 6 administrative districts. And so what we want to send to the government is that we don't have doubt over the security. We only want the security to take the matters and ensure that those individuals which have been mentioned, they arrest them and make them to face the full rigors of the law. Because already the voter situation in Boku, students are not able to go to school. Nurses are running. And then at the end of it all, those students are supposed to compete with other students from other schools and then across the country. So when we have a voter situation, which is now being escalated to Walewale district, it's something that is unfortunate. We also wish to also send a signal to the chiefs and the opinion leaders in the Walewale district to ensure that they don't allow people from Boku to come to that place and cause a problem for them.
Okay, so are the police involved in this at any point? Are the security authorities involved?
Yes, they are involved. And I think we had a discussion with them, and which they said that they were treating the issue as a criminal matter and that it was linked to robbery. But when we look at the incident, about 4 separate incidents happened. Someone who mentioned that he was going to do that actually executed it, which we mentioned the name. And there's also one man called T. Broadnight. In fact, the first incident that happened, he has already given the public something on his Facebook wall.
All right.
He's called T. Broadnight. He published that this car was going to attack, and actually that car was the first car that was attacked.
Okay, so Ayamba, what do you want to happen right now? Let's wrap this up quickly.
We want the security to act.
Okay.
We want them to vote book because escalating the matter that has already been contained in Boku to Walewale is showing a bad signal.
Okay, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much. Ayamba Dawuda Ali, Communications Director, Kusa Youth Movement, on these attacks that have happened on vehicles traveling from Boku to southern Ghana after the Samampid Festival. 1 person reported to have been killed. These attacks happened on the Walewale Road in the West Mamprisi municipality in the Northeast region. Of course, keep an eye on this, and then if there are any developments, we will let you know. This is GTV Breakfast. My guest is Theophilus Jim McGann. He's a lawyer. He's an engineer as well. And he's a panelist on today's show. We're looking at the headlines. And this is a conversation that happened yesterday on the Constitution Day holiday. We had the NCCE chairperson here, Kathy Addy. And she was basically speaking about something we've been talking about for a long time. Galamsey issues. We are playing with fire as far as Galamsey is concerned. Speaking on GTV Breakfast Show yesterday, she stated that the Galamsey menace is a threat to Ghana's democracy and has a tendency of leading Ghana to war if care is not taken. Quote, beyond the devastation of the environment, beyond the exposure to severe health problems, beyond the destruction of communities, we have the very real threat that the way we are going about it, this Galamsey business is going to lead us to war. She expressed worry. She's talking about this whole concept of blood diamonds, Sierra Leone, and you know, just the struggle for resources and people setting up, you know, basically conflict is a real threat if we don't take care with this Galamsey thing that we are doing. Your thoughts?
Yes, I can't help but to agree with her that it can lead to wars. However, I've stated here on this program that we should be able to have the desire, and someone should have the ability to say it is enough. We should not give the Galamsey different names, community mining, etc., so as to legitimize something which is wrong. Let us be decisive. Let us deal with the issue of Galamsey. Recently, the Western region is in the news for the fact that getting water from the rivers to Ghana water treatment plants is becoming a problem. Let us deal with this seriously. Now, apart from few things that she has mentioned, you would have noticed in certain videos that circulated that some people hired people who appear to be military men with guns to protect their concessions. Now, if we reach a situation where we are going to have rivals manning concessions and community members also up in arms against those holding those concessions, then we are likely to have wars. So I think that it is time, apart from all the devastation that Galamsey is causing, the environment, water, health issues, etc., we should be able to say it is enough. Let us put a stop to this. We just need somebody who will say, we have heard the president say it before, that I'll put even my presidency online, but it became a mere rhetoric. It's gone. We should have somebody who will say it is enough. Let us not do this to ourselves. If you want to do mining, go for proper license. And that way, we will not get to a situation where we will now be talking about blood diamonds, etc. So I think that the warning she has given has come at a very good time, and it is for us, those in government, policy makers, to sit up to say it is enough. And if you notice, it appears that people who are all doing all these minings are connected to high places. So it is, again, very difficult to call those who are involved in a bit of mining here and there that we term community mining to stop. But somebody has to say that, as for me and my presidency, we will not indulge anybody to undertake Galamsey.
Why is it so hard to deal with this problem? I mean, it's as obvious as looking at, this is the water that your citizens are drinking.
Yes.
And we posted recently, just yesterday,
yes,
the state of the river Pra. And no change. How hard is this? In fact, I'm actually seeing the deposits actually becoming more pronounced. You know, that it has settled to a point that...
it will settle more if you put it under the sun.
Okay.
Yes.
Some breakdown will happen.
Yes,
Subsidization.
No. I can't go into the chemistry now. But it will settle.
It will settle even more.
Yes, but this is one of the rivers you have mentioned.
Yes.
If you are getting to Eziama, where the Ankobra joins the sea, if you watch and you see the difference between the water entering the sea, this is clearer. You know,
this is not like a paste. You know, I'm shaking it, and the sediment at the bottom is not dislodging.
You are only even talking about, let me use the word mud or dust. You are not talking about the chemicals involved yet. You see, and there are some chemicals that will not go away. There are some that are metallic. And if you have followed the news, there was a time that some cocoa beans from Ghana were found to contain chemicals that hitherto were not in the cocoa beans. So, as a result of the fact that the chemicals being used around Galamsey are transporting or finding their way into the trees, and we are finding them in the cocoa beans. So it is not difficult to correct this. However, the people who are, let me use the word, the paymasters for the Galamsey, are also funding a bit of our politicians. So it's very difficult to hold people accountable. That is basically it. Except we have a situation where we all agree that this is so bad and we should not entertain it. Like we treat it the same way as murder, slavery, etc. Then we will see real action. But for us to be dancing around it, it will continue this way.
We are dancing, eh?
We are dancing around the Galamsey issue, yes.
What are your thoughts on Galamsey? We'll get your WhatsApp messages pretty soon. Some developments on this McMill issue, which doesn't want to go away. So the minority is actually pushing for a probe. Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, North Tongue member of Parliament, has disclosed that the minority caucus will push for a probe of the circumstances leading to the shooting of portions of a music video at the Jubilee House. And so he's saying we will insist there is an investigation. We will insist that all those who masterminded this national disgrace and international embarrassment are brought to book. As the House remains on recess, we'll continue to push for committees to look into this matter. When the House returns, we'll raise this matter on the floor. He spoke on an interview with Joy News yesterday. He's demanded that the president should apologize to Ghanaians for what he called despicable desecration of the Jubilee House. This desecration has to do with holy places. I mean, is Jubilee House a holy place, really?
No, not this.
Are people just now taking the whole thing to a whole new level? What is desecration? You're looking at temples and religious artifacts. Well, if you say it's a desecration of the Jubilee House,
no, you can look at cemeteries as well, etc. Not necessarily. I mean, a place that you revere.
Okay.
Yes, that's why cemeteries.
Do Ghanaians really revere cemeteries?
Yes.
I visit cemeteries almost every week to go and look at my parents' graves.
Yes,
and people don't revere cemeteries.
No,
in this
I mean, it is now that we have a lot of let me use the word Christianity wading into it. I school close to a cemetery when I was in primary school, and you dare not even point at the
place.
Yes, you are afraid that a ghost will come in the night. And worry you. But on a more serious note, so Parliament couldn't be summoned to come back if this is so serious for them. They could be summoned to come back and deal with this issue. In fact, let us put this in the same context as maybe the White House, number 10 Downing Street, etc. You can't do this. That is the bottom line. You can't do it.
So, I think we're even going too far. I mean, our chief's palaces. You can't go to the Gamanches Palace or Two-Force Palace or Womanfia's place and start shooting a video.
No, you can't do it. And people have been arrested for even taking pictures in front of Jubilee House before. So you can't do this. So let us not appear like we are stretching his coffee. This is a matter that we should be able to deal with quickly, learn lessons from it, and move on. So to me, again, you see, it is becoming more difficult because Jubilee House is quiet. Somebody could come in to say, we have reviewed this, we have learned lessons, 2 people have been put on a suspension, or 3 people and 1 person has been sacked, etc. Then we move on. But to be quiet, all this will continue to come.
So we must not be quiet.
No.
It's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
We're not stretching issues.
No, we are not stretching issues at all. Because this thing has been trending since, I think, Sunday.
Yes, since Sunday.
Yes, it is not, I mean, a trivial issue. Otherwise, it would have ended. As the president used to say, these 2 shall pass. Otherwise, it would have passed long ago.
No, you're not saying it well. This 2 shall pass. You have to pause. These two shall for pass. The battle is
the Lord's.
It will be so.
Okay.
You're watching GTV Breakfast. This show is not passing anytime soon. We're going to about 8:30, and then we will have the vandals and the university authorities coming here to speak about issues, unpacking the University Council and Commonwealth Hall saga. That's a big issue that's been in the news for a while right now. You're watching GTV Breakfast. When my WhatsApp panel comes up, I'll find the WhatsApp messages for you so that you can express your views right here on the show. I'm here with Mr. Theophilus Jimaga. He's my panelist. He's a lawyer and an engineer. And we are looking at the stories in the news. Return to school of the second cycle institutions beginning today, the 10th of January 2023. If you're a student or you're a teacher, what are your thoughts about that? Are you ready to go back to school to start? And the school year starts this time in January. We want to know your thoughts on that. WhatsApp number 055-556-1034. Let me find some more stories for you. People are running for various seats. No one could wear shorts or t-shirts to meet John Mahama. Former chief of staff is saying this. So a lot of people are talking about this Meek Mill issue. This was also quite a big deal before the Christmas holidays, and I wanted to just get your thoughts on this. So DataBank restarts operations following attacks from clients. So today they are expected to resume operations from January 2010 today, after they were earlier directed to work remotely from home amid verbal attacks and abuse leveled against them. So according to Asasi Radio, the resumption will take place at independent branches of the investment firm across the country. So they say they will apply a phased approach to reopening their physical locations. This development comes after staff of the investment bank were allegedly subjected to physical and verbal abuse from clients due to inability to pay them their funds. So the chief executive officer of DataBank, Kojo Adai-Mensah, spoke to clients via Zoom on December 28th, explaining that the fixed income investments of clients, which were placed in government of Ghana bonds, had since been impacted by the planned domestic debt exchange program, which was announced on December 5th by the finance ministry. And so they were unable to proceed with bond sales in order to allow clients to redeem their investment. Clients were not happy. They got there and they started making action, and they said, you know what, let's work from home. They are returning today. I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
I think that someone will shout, let's go for our money, with what they've said. They've not really indicated whether they will be able to start to pay their clients or customers their money. So for me, I think that is what is missing in the news release. But it's good. No employee, wherever the person is working, should be subjected to any form of abuse. If you travel across the world, a lot of areas, they put notices that if you subject our employees to any form of attack, we will press charges and we'll ask for maximum penalty against them. So I think that is good news. They should also take their security serious and allow their staff to work in peace. But if from the news, it means that it is not everybody who is returning. They are doing it in phases. So again, they should also ask questions. What were the issues making clients angry? They should also be able to deal with customer service properly so that clients will not be that angry to be willing to attack their employees.
And this is not strange. I remember last year in Lebanon, people were going to banks and demanding for their money, and when they were not getting their money, they were actually pulling out guns. And I heard it actually happened here in this country where somebody threatened a bank person with a weapon. They wanted their money, things like that. So tempers are really high, and they need to be just brought down.
Kafi, let's trace where DataBank is coming from. DataBank somehow has connection with our current finance minister. And when they came into office... He founded it.
He's one of the co-founders.
Okay. When they came into office, they closed certain banks because they were not. They claimed the banks were not performing. And now this is your bank. Let me use the word your bank reservedly. And this is what is happening to your bank as well. So what do you expect from ordinary citizens? And you are finance minister. So they will expect that at least you will know this is going to happen before you keep taking the deposit of the investors. So let us also understand where the customer's anger is coming from. Yeah.
Let us understand where the customer's anger is coming from. I'm looking at this gentleman who is basically taking the government to court over its decision to have individual bond holders' money affected by this debt exchange program. If you do remember, the pension funds were going to be included, and the organized labor kicked up a royal fuss, and the pension funds have been exempted. And now individual bonds are likely to be affected by this debt exchange program. Mr. Martin Kpebu is not amused. He says he has countered government's claim over not having enough money to settle debts, and he's basically saying government has money to settle debts. I don't know how he computed that, but has rather decided to channel the funds into infrastructure and development projects contained in the 2023 budget. And he's basically challenging the government's decision to fall on individual bondholders to deal with our financial problems, and he's taking them to court.
Yes, if you look at, there was a time there was a release that showed the Attorney General's advice to governments on this haircut and bond situation. There was a situation where they even wanted to declare a state of emergency or use emergency powers in handling this, and the AG said the situation does not fall within that category. Now, you are owing somebody, and you decide that I am going to give you X amount, or I won't give you at all. That's not how life operates generally. You need to sit down with the person to say, hey, I'll give you 2 cedis now, I'll give you 3 cedis tomorrow. But for you to just wake up and say, I'm not going to give you now, I'll give you in 10 years' time, I'll give you 5 years' time, it doesn't work that way. And you are owing somebody, then the person sees you in a restaurant eating all the best kind of meals. The person will be angry. That's what Senior Martin Kpebu is saying. He is saying that you say you don't have money, yet you have a lot of projects lined up to do this year. So pay me first before you go on and do, pay the people first. And it's not only Martin Kpebu. I hear Bright Simons of Imani has also joined, and
yes,
they're advising clients to go to court. It's a simple contractual agreement. You have my money with you. Give me back my money. You don't come and say, I'll give you your money, or I'll give it to you in 20 years' time or 15 years' time. You don't take unilateral. You sit down decision. You sit down with the person and say, look, these are the situations. I'm now tight of funds. Let me pay you at this particular time. That's how it's got to go.
That's how it's got to go. I'll read some messages, and then we will have to go and make way for the university conversations. Going back to school dates, when we were in secondary school, the school calendar was known at least a year or more in advance. How complicated can it be to set school calendars? I mean, even EPSF, with all their games, and they're able to give you, you know what game you are being played. It's being played on March the 6th next year, that kind of thing. Message for GTV, please. We are not feeling the new GTV program changes on breakfast. What are the new changes? We haven't changed anything. It's the same show, man. You know, you and I know there are no laws in Ghana to prove otherwise. We talk and share our views on air concerning issues, troubles, and problems, yet no response of mentioned. I don't understand. I'm seeing Britain and all kinds of things. You want the British to come back again. British are not coming back again. Sorry. To Meek Mill, you are not what? You're talking to Meek Mill. You're not the one everyone is mad at. Hope you get the point. Okay. Enjoy other aspects of Africa. The political aspect of Africa is a serious issue. Okay, thank you so much. Benton from Dansuman says, same message is telling us. EXO on the bridge. Thanks a lot. Ajwa Stallone. Good morning. It wasn't the Jubilee House once referred to as being turned into a poultry farm? I'd like to know if Ghanaians respect the seat of the presidency and the person who occupies it. Just ask him. Oh, okay. All right. Benton, thanks a lot. Good morning to you and your crew. BFS, always the best. Thanks for educating us. Thanks a lot. Hello, Galamsey cannot be stopped in Ghana because there are those who are to see to a stoppage are directly involved in it. Come to Dunkwa on Ofin and you witness how the two Galamseys are boldly operating on Ofin River. All right, Bonica says, I support all the comments by lawyer Theophilus on the Jubilee House video issue. I want to know if the president was to contest again, would he have to resign his position? We've had a vice president who stood on party primaries, but then he stepped down. Okay, president can't go again because he's done his 2 terms. You arrested and beat Caleb Kuda for filming abandoned vehicles, but hypocritically allow Meek Mill. We are still enslaved. I swear why. Okay, all right, these are your messages. Thank you very much. I'm not going to read anything that is insulting. Abdullah Rufai. Talking about Meek Mill, the rapper, even if he was introduced by the president's daughter, doesn't mean he should send his cameras in there. Where's our constitution? Okay, so those are our messages right here. I'm packing the University Council. That's a conversation that's coming up next on today's show. And I want to end with just good news. All right, so this is good news. It's not our money, but we can enjoy it. The news. Oprah Winfrey remains the richest black woman in America with $2.5 billion net worth. Multiplied by how much? What's our exchange rate these days?
12 cedis.
12 cedis. 2.5 times 12 is what?
You can't even imagine it.
You can't even imagine it. Yes. Mr. Jimega, I can imagine that you're going to have a good day today.
Yeah, Kafui, before I leave,
Yes.
2 things happening in my life. Sunday will be my mother's birthday.
Oh, okay.
Permit
Nice.
me to use the opportunity
Mommy.
to... Yeah, she will be 80 years.
Solid.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, we call her sister.
sister.
She has been an amazing, because she has been a sister to all the siblings before we were born.
Fantastic.
So we keep calling her sister.
Happy birthday, sister.
Yes, happy birthday, Sister Martha Jimega. On behalf of my siblings and the whole family, we wish you a happy birthday, and we wish you stay with us more.
Okay.
And the second person in my life, interestingly, my senior at the law firm,
okay,
Robert Sinkpacha,
okay,
will also be 60 on Friday.
So 80-60.
Yes.
All right.
So Senior Robert Sinkpacha,
okay,
happy birthday. You have been an amazing mentor to a lot of people.
All right.
So my mom and my senior Robert Sinkpacha,
okay,
they are both celebrating their birthdays today. Okay. In fact, my mom shares the birthday with a colleague of mine, okay, Adiza. Okay. Happy birthday as well.
All right.
Yes.
I want you to briefly to say happy birthday to mommy in Ever.
Oh, Sister Martha Jimega Medi Jigbeza ye now. Wa hope blani mi dakpe na ma ode wa gbeta mi kale kuku de na ma obe na no mi agbo wa didi vide ne ta Jigbeza now. Wo jigbe mi adui now wanyakpo jigbeza now.
Hododio.
Oh,
Akbar. Thank you so much, Theophilus Jimega. Now you know Jigbeza means birthday. Jigbeza, the festival of the day of your birth.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the day. You just reminded me of my mother-in-law. We also they used to call her sister,
okay,
but I called her mom.